Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? So I'm trying out the Osmo Pocket, so bear with me. This is the first real video I did on it, so like I said, bear with me. But anyways, I wanted to do this video a while ago. I know I mentioned it in my past videos a while ago. I wanted to do what I use and what I do to make a bulletproof Baja. Now, bulletproof Baja, that's not talking about, running the damn thing into a tree or, whatever, or cartwheeling it or, stuff like that. Me meaning is like the diff not blowing out, hub bearings not, getting, melting out and, out of the plastic housings and stuff. So, I grabbed, two Bajas. Obviously, I have three Bajas. This one's a big bore Baja too, but I'm just doing these two right now because this one and the one over here are very similar. Um, so anyways, let's start with that. This is obviously a small bore Baja. This is obviously a big bore. So let's start off with, let's say you're building a big bore Baja. And this is just me. I mean, people can have their opinions or whatever. But if you're building a big bore Baja, I personally like the alloy arms. And the arms I choose on both of my big bore Bajas are FLM arms. Now, why would you say you would want alloy arms for a big bore Baja build? Well, what's good about the alloy arms, and this is all in my opinion, is there's no flex, there's no give. The big bores put out a lot of torque and stuff. Like there's no slop. It cleans up all the slop. When you're taking off from the line or whatever. But that being said, there's nothing wrong with plastic arms, and I'll go over that one in a minute. So whether I run a big bore or small bore in my Bajas, I try to make them as bulletproof as possible. Now, on a small bore Baja, I do like the plastic arms. These ones are RPM arms. The reason why I do that on the small bore, to keep the weight down. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? Let's just keep the weight down. And in that aspect, it is probably maybe a little bit overkill on a small bore Baja because it's a lot of added weight. I'm not saying you can't. I mean, you know what I mean? You can do whatever you want. It's your ride. But let's just go over. So my take, your front knuckles here. Whether you go big bore or small bore, do you need alloy front ones? Not 100%. I like them on my big bore. If I have alloy arms, I'm putting alloy hubs on them. Whatever brand you want. These ones are red arrow. Let me see. These ones here are Rovin or King Motor ones. Nothing wrong with them. But so let's start with, we already did the arms. Like the FLM arms, and I know Red Arrow arms. Here, I'm going all over the place here. So let's say, these are extended. These are extended FLM arms, okay? So if you're going to do an alloy Baja and you run FLM extended arms or Red Arrow arms, then you would get the IRC extended axles. Okay? They they fit perfect, so forth. So they're made for the correct length. I did hear some people buying, I don't know if it was Rovin or King Motor, but one of their extended arm kits, and they're not the same length as the FLMs. I know Kraken has extended arms. I know A-Kill does. Like I think ALX was selling them for a while. They're plastic extended arms. Kraken had them out a long time ago, and then they brought them back. But anyways, so let's go over this. So let's talk about the actual transmission housing, okay? Which is obviously, whatever. I'll just show you if you guys can see in there. The guy in there. Now, the two most popular is the Taylor one and the Turtle Racing housing. Now, my small bore has a Turtle Racing housing. Okay. Hopefully this camera's getting everything. It's a little different to get used to with the gimbal, so bear with me. So anyway, those are the two most popular. Okay. I think they're both great. I have no issues with both. My other Baja over there, the one with the 46, has a turtle in there. This has a turtle. My small bore Baja, this one has a turtle. This one has a Taylor. Okay. And I'll try not to get into it crazy, but with the Taylor one, it is machined right here. I'll show you. It's made right where the case would hit the basically where the trans housing would hit the crankcase. Okay, on the Taylor one, it fits perfect. It's machined in there with the groove. Now, when you run a Turtle one in a big bore, you have to shave the case down, the transmission to fit. That's what I had to do the one over there. So I'm not going to get into crazy details about that. But, if you guys want to mess with me or ask questions about that, that's fine. Now, one of the most important parts in a Baja that makes them, bulletproof is the your transmission. Are you going to run a diff? Are you going to run a locker? The gears in there. Okay, so let's just say your idler gear, your drive gear, I think I said idler gear, but basically all your main gears inside your transmission. The ones that I have found that work the best, okay, is Blackbone. Okay, Blackbone also makes all our big bore pinion and spur gears. Okay, so you get that. So now let's say if you run a locker, what's great about a locker is there's no spider gears. Okay, there's no pins in there to break. Okay. Now, my personal take on that, okay, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of people, whatever, saying stuff or whatever. But it's a two-wheel drive, basically grass, drag vehicle, straight line runner, okay? So, me personally, Bajas don't handle that great, whether you have a diff or a locker, okay? And this is where I'm going to have a lot of people probably like, oh, they handle good with either way. But I'm just saying, when you have a good engine in there or whatever, when you, hammer down the field and, you're running out of real estate, you're running out of room. I don't care if you have a small bore Baja in there, a big bore Baja, or a differential or a locker. You got to slow down on turns, okay? Or it's going to roll. So, that being said, if you want to make a bulletproof one, okay, and I'm not saying, I'm sure there's guys that have, 71 cc's that have a diff in their Baja, okay, and they hold up. But I'm saying if you're going to choose either one, I would personally go with a locker. There's less parts to break. No spider gears. No spider gear pins, you know what I mean? I know Taylor sells upgraded pins. I have them, okay? But I think your locker is going to be stronger, okay? So, but in the aspects of, oh, I won't be able to turn, Come on, guys, face it. Bajas don't handle that great, anyways. Okay, and especially a big bore Baja, it's wheels up. You're not going to be, on a track racing it. Okay, and like I said, this is my opinion. Okay, all right, my opinion. So that being said, you buy a good locker. Okay, and I am partial to the Taylor locker. Okay, because Taylor has the locker built with the IRC axles. Okay, they fit perfect. They're machined for them. Whoever's had them, whatever, can tell you too. But that with black bone gears and IRC axles, okay, whether you're going extended or not extended, okay, that's a different story. Well, it's not a different story, but it doesn't matter. That is going to be your best setup. And if you're going to buy a turtle diff housing or a Taylor diff housing, I would say if you're going to go big bore or small bore, I would probably go with the Taylor one. I have 2 turtles. I have no issues with them. But the Taylor is going to fit better with a big bore in it. So, and they're all 3-piece, whatever. So in that aspect, I would go with Taylor. So you have, the Taylor housing, the black bone gears, inside the transmission, good bearings, Fast Eddie's or Jim's bearings or the ones you can get from Detroit, whoever makes those for them, just a good quality bearing, So that black bone gears, IRC axles, The other thing is the lay shaft. The lay shaft is also very important. I'm not going to go over what the lay shaft is, what this other end is too, I have Kraken and I have Taylor. I have no issues with either one of them. But a good lay shaft. And in that aspect, to make life easier, everything's available at Detroit Performance or Taylor RC. So you might as well get the Taylor one. You know what I mean? So that aspect, so that's pretty much your whole diff. That's where you're going to spend a lot of money on a Baja, is the diff. The transmission, the whole transmission assembly, So you have that. Now, I'm not going to get so much into like the chassis and all that stuff. Just for example, I have 2 IRC chassis. That one is a Kraken chassis. It's a polymer chassis. Great chassis. Had no issues with it. I will say it's not 100% necessary, but you want a good engine, the rear portion of the, let me see if I can do this. The rear portion of the chassis, the engine plate, Now, there's 2 different ones. Well, I'll say 3, One manufacturer makes 2 different styles, Modified RC, This is their smaller one. This is supposed to be for like a 5T, a 5SC, I'll get over here for a second. Let me see if I can get this good. This one here is Modified RC, but this one's made for a 5B, so you got like the mud flaps. I mean, you don't have to run the mud flaps or whatnot. This is a bigger chassis plate. Not thicker, just, wider. I would spend money on that. Not 100. You don't have to 100% need that, but I mean, if you're building if you're spending $600 to $800 in a transmission assembly, with axles and stuff, spend the $80 and get the Modified RC chassis plate. Also, a other really good chassis plate. I never ran this one with a big bore. Let me get used to this gimbal here. This is a bonehead one. Hopefully that comes up on the camera good. This is a carbon fiber one. Had no issues with it. It's awesome, super light. That's just preference at that point. I had stock ones flex a little bit. And I didn't know till basically I bolted the two chassis. When I taken two chassis apart, there was a little bow in there. So that's a really good upgrade. The other thing I will say, basically like your motor mounts and chassis braces. Right there. Sorry, just bear with me with the gimbal. I'm trying to get used to it. These are boneheads. Also, fat dads are really good too. The two, this one and the small bore, I run bonehead ones. This one here is I don't know if you guys can see it in there, is fat dad. Okay. Either one is good. Okay. So let's go over. Okay, so I did the diff. So you guys are okay with the diff. You know, whether you want plastic arms or not plastic arms. I like the alloy arms with big bores. Like I said, there's less give. It's more rigid. It's, you know, it just stiffens the whole vehicle up. Now, a good area you want to also do is your rear hubs. Okay. On Bajas, I would run alloy rear hubs. Okay. Now, it doesn't. If you want to run Hostels or Taylors, they're fine. I have all Taylors and I've had Hostels before. I have no issues with them. Okay. You know, I'm not going to go over in this video, you know, top chassis braces, top chassis plates or any of that kind of stuff. I'm just, you know, just going over. Now, I will say a very, very good upgrade on a Baja is your steering system, your wiper system, okay? Now, on all my Bajas, okay, because they're not turning vehicles, you know what I mean? They're not a four-wheel drive vehicle where, you know, you don't have a lot of weight in the front, you know what I mean? So I don't go crazy on the steering servos on my Bajas. These are high-tech. I'll have to read the number. They're high-tech. I don't know. I'll let you know. I'll put it in the description or something. They're $80 on DDM. They work great for me. I have no issues with them. They handle as good as they're going to get. So I do that, okay? And then I run on all my Bajas. The servo mount in here, I run the full force billet adapter, okay? And then, here, this one's an easier one to see. I run the Turtle wiper system, okay? That makes a stock Baja handle a lot better. It takes the slop away. I am not a fan of the push-pull system at all. Okay. And you know the other problem I don't like about the push-pull system? First of all, these battery boxes are tiny. It cuts them in half. Okay. So I would just do the Turtle, a decent servo, and you're good to go on that. That's about as far as I'm going to go into, you know, like that setup anyways. So, all right, we did the front. Like I said, the rear hubs, like even this one has RPM arms. It has the stock front knuckles, spindles, whatever you want to call them, okay? But on here, I run, these are Taylor rear hubs, okay? But still stock, well, not stock, but RPM arms, okay? So that pretty much covers, you know, your arms and diff and so forth. So one thing I noticed for me is I was not a big fan of the Baja shocks, okay? Whether they were small bore or big bore, okay? On all my Bajas, I run IRC shocks, okay? Super easy to fill. There's a lot more tuning options, meaning springs, so forth. They're a lot more beefy than Baja shocks. Okay. And this is my small bore one. These are all IRC. Okay. I mean, this is a pretty expensive build, just because it's a small bore, it's still a pretty expensive build. So since we're talking about the small bore right now, and I haven't buy it, this has housing, but all the same internals as my 65 Supreme Baja. Okay. And this is a Taylor 35. Obviously they don't have nowhere near the same power, but this diff is built just as much as that diff. The only difference in this one is, besides the turtle housing to the Taylor housing, is this is non-extended. Okay. So this is as wide as a stock one is. Okay. That'll be your choice, however you want to do it. Okay. What else was I going to say? Okay, so then let's say you're building a small bore Baja. Okay, a very good upgrade. Now this is on a small bore Baja. After the stuff I told you about the diffs, making it bulletproof. Turtle Racing makes a great clutch carrier. Okay. Now on my small bore Baja, like this one here with the Taylor 35, I run a Turtle pinion gear, and then I run Hostile, plastic spur gear. Okay. So besides the alloy, these vehicles, like parts wise, are very close. Here's the big bore Baja, IRC shocks, but you see, like, these have, the raw, which is the lightweight. I have black springs on there, which is the medium. And then on this one, I have red. So there's a lot more tuning adjustabilities on that. You know what I mean? So, where was I going to go with that? Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. Got a lot of stuff going in my mind. But anyways, that's the main, that I would say the difference. I mean, the money you want to spend bulletproofing a Baja, the most important thing is the transmission and axles. Okay. Whether it's a small bore or big bore. I had a OBR 30.5 reading here. It's a 30.5. I still have the same transmission and axle setup. Okay. I just don't like my stuff breaking. You know what I mean? So I overkill the builds. You know what I mean? But think about it. My 65 Supreme doesn't break any diff parts. So my small bore Baja is definitely not. You know what I mean? It's it's overkill. But that's how I like to build my vehicles, and I don't have issues with them. I don't blow pins out. But that being said, so these two here are lockers, okay? And the only reason why I did this is I got the locker from Rob Fiskell or Bust, okay? And I had this one built first. This has all the same transmission parts. This one just has a turtle case. Now, this one has a diff. Okay, this one does not have a locker, and this is a 46 GT. That's just because I built this one and I wasn't going to swap them out, whatever. If you are going to do a diff, a very bulletproof diff is the IRC diff. If you're going to run good power in it, get the IRC. It's an alloy diff. Okay, it's not cast like the stock Baja ones. Okay. And I'm not going to talk, I don't know about the Roven ones that are alloy, the red alloy one. Haven't used it. Okay. But I like the way this thing handles with the diff. But me personally, excuse me, for what these Bajas are, even the small bore Baja, when you drive them, you really don't notice the difference between the locker and the diff. because I mean the diff fluid in here, you're putting 1,000,000 weight in here anyway, so it's not 100% locked, but it's pretty close. So like, if I hand one of you guys a controller driving it up and down the field, you probably wouldn't be able to tell which one has a locker, which one doesn't, to be honest. So in that aspect, for me, I'd rather have a locker in there, less stuff to break, less moving parts. You know what I mean? Hopefully that makes sense. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this one, but I ended up putting the WJ71 on here. So we'll see how that bad boy goes. If that weather ever breaks here. Well, either way, I hope this answered a lot of questions. I mean, if people have other questions or whatever, I can go more in depth on on video. You know what I mean? I know it's kind of a little over the place, but I'm just trying to think of anything else real quick. I know some people, weak spots on Bajas. Here, let me see here for 1 second. Weak spots on Bajas is the front, there we go, the front kick plate. What's nice with the IRC chassis, they come with a pretty nice alloy one that comes with it. But on my Kraken chassis one, I don't know. I don't run the crazy heavy alloy ones. I don't. I'm just one of those. I'm a believer if you're gonna hit something hard enough, it's gonna break it regardless, or it's gonna bend it, whatever. So yeah, I mean, that being said, like, I don't have any on this one. Oh, there we go. Let's get in focus here. So, if you're gonna buy a chassis, I'd probably buy the IRC one over any other one because it does come with the alloy kick-up. That there's anything wrong with the Kraken one, but I don't know. The IRC is really nice. Here, let's see. This one might be a little bit easier to see. Yeah, see it in there. It comes with that. I'm not going to get in. I mean, I can in other videos, but like, the hinge pin carriers on Bajas, you know what I mean? This one's got, my small bore Baja has, bonehead ones. This one has bonehead ones. And believe it or not, this one here has King motor ones. The original ones when I got with the vehicle. Even the actual hinge pins, these are stock King motor hinge pins. They still got the clips on them, the C clips or E clips or whatever you want to call them. This one has the Taylor ones. Okay. The small bore Baja has Kraken ones. But again, I never had issues with the stock ones. You know what I mean? To be honest with you. So, it just comes down to how crazy you want to go. Man, I just realized this video is almost 29 minutes. Well, hopefully I'm not boring people. But, areas you do not want to cheap out on Bajas, whatever engine you have. I mean, if you're running your stock, 29cc, so be it. But if you want to build a, pretty bulletproof Baja, you have to spend the money in the transmission, your drivetrain, let's just make it easy. Just drivetrain. Okay. I had Fat Dad axles with these. And I probably still be rocking them on this one. I think I traded Big John. Big John has my Fat Dad axles. IRCs, I like it. IRCs have the biggest pins. So if you're going to buy them, I would buy the IRCs. Okay. They're heavy, they're big, but I tell you what, I haven't broke one. And that's with a 65 Baja. That's with an 80 Supreme. Okay, this one, I haven't ran that one yet, obviously. But, so, I mean, if they're holding the power, of an 80 Supreme, and I mean, obviously even a Diablo. Diablo runs the same stuff, you know what I mean? Or my Outlaw runs the same stuff with the Diablo. So if you put those axles in a small bore like this one, you're not going to have any issues. You know what I mean? Obviously not neglect or whatever, or, power sliding or letting it roll back and hammering the throttle. But on that aspect, I mean, I've had really good luck with Bajas. I mean, Bajas are, like probably my favorite. You know what I mean? But I do think if you're building a let's just say a big bore Baja, I would personally put a locker in it. Okay. Like I said, less moving. But I mean, think about it. Less moving parts. There's no spider gears. There's no pins for the spider gears. Okay. If I had one apart, I would show you. They're pretty bulletproof on that aspect of it. Whatever. I don't want to go in crazy detail, but I'm not going to get into what tie rods and all that stuff, but the main thing on a Baja is the transmission. You know what I mean? And the turtle, steering system, the wiper arms, where the servo saver is. I really like the turtle, the heavy duty one. I do have both styles. I think that one's the non-heavy duty. This one's the heavy duty. I would just buy the heavy duty one, then you're good there. It's gonna take all the slop away, So whatever. I mean, however, if you want an alloy Baja, that I would do the FLM. I can't speak for like the Kraken extended arms that they have. I can only vouch for the stuff I have or I've used. You know what I mean? The RPM arms been great. I mean, this is a killer small bore setup. I mean, this thing could hold a big bore. I never ran a big bore with plastic arms. I just look at the aspect of like where the kingpins go through the plastic arms in the rear. With all that torque, it's gonna hollow out those the pinholes. You know what I mean? I mean that's my thought. So yeah, I mean, hopefully this video wasn't too long and too boring, and hopefully my camera work wasn't too bad. It's the first time using the Osmo Pocket. So, like I said, if you guys have any more questions, I can get more in depth or whatnot, or if you want a real breakdown of either one of these, you know what I mean, I could do that too. If you guys want me to, I mean, everybody has pretty much internet nowadays. I mean, you guys can go see how much parts cost. But if you want to know how much is into this one or how much is into that one, I could do a video on that. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily like talking dollar amount, but it's all on Detroit, DDM, Taylor, you know what I mean? So, well, anyways, hopefully that kind of made sense, and hopefully I wasn't too all over the place, guys. All right, till next time.